Hey there, Neutron Tech crew. Today we're hanging out with Halfass Kustoms as they take on an absolutely wild Frankenstein truck project. You're about to see some next-level customization that'll make you rethink everything you know about creative metalwork and automotive artistry. This is the kind of build that makes other custom shops stop and take notes. So here's what's going down. These guys are taking a post-war GMC pickup and basically reinventing it from scratch. The mad scientist behind Halfass Kustoms is chopping the roof clean off and turning this old workhorse into a slick roadster. We're talking modern upgrades, custom aesthetics that'll make your jaw drop, and practical modifications that actually make sense. It's like watching someone turn a rusty barn find into automotive sculpture. The transformation is so complete, you'd never guess this started as a salvage yard rescue. The star of our show, a 1949 GMC pickup. One of those gorgeous trucks from General Motors' first-generation advanced design series. You know the ones. Those beautiful beasts with the bulging fenders, towering cabs, and that no-nonsense industrial look that screams American craftsmanship. These trucks are like time capsules from when America was rebuilding after the war, full of that late 40s, early 50s optimism. Classic car enthusiasts go crazy for these things. And honestly, who can blame them? They're perfect canvases for both purist restorations and wild custom builds like this one. The design language of these trucks has influenced custom builders for decades. With the bumper and grille already transformed, our builder gets down to the nitty-gritty interior work. Since the original guts of this truck are either gone or heavily modified, the steering column and dashboard need some serious custom engineering. Watch as he fabricates these tiny metal brackets and linkages. Precision work that'll either support the steering system or help the door latches work properly. The old wiring harness? Most of its history. What remains gets rerouted for a cleaner setup, and the dashboard gets a major overhaul to make room for custom switches, linkages, and brackets that'll bring this old truck into the modern age. Every connection point requires careful consideration to ensure reliability and functionality. Now here's where things get really interesting. The rear section modification. This is probably the most mind-bending part of the whole build. After sorting out the body and floor structure, our builder focuses on completely reimagining the back end to match his vision for this custom roadster. He starts with curved tubing and square metal stock, building a skeleton that'll support everything else. The precision here is insane. Every cut has to be perfect, every piece aligned just right. Extra reinforcements go into the frame, because this thing needs to be rock solid for what's coming next. A completely custom truck bed and rear panel design that'll blow your mind. The engineering involved here rivals what you'd see in professional race car fabrication shops. Forget those boring square corners you'd normally see on a truck. This builder's going for smooth, flowing curves that he's bending by hand to perfectly match the body and fender shapes. These curved corners aren't just for looks, they're designed to seamlessly integrate the sheet metal panels that'll wrap around those modified fenders. Massive sheets of metal get cut and shaped to form the new bed sides, and fitting them against the tubular framework and wheel arches is like solving a three-dimensional puzzle. Every piece has to line up perfectly. The amount of trial fitting involved here would test anyone's patience, but that's what separates good builders from great ones. When everything's sitting pretty and the fit is spot on, it's welding time. The builder starts with strategic tack welds to keep the heat from warping the metal. Nobody wants a wavy truck bed. Slowly but surely, he stitches those panels into the structure, making each weld count. The end result? A completely custom truck bed that perfectly complements the low-slung Roadster profile. The floor panel gets built to match the new ride height, keeping everything level and clean looking from front to back. This isn't just modification, it's complete reinvention. The welds themselves become part of the design language, each one carefully placed and finished. For the fuel system, a Tri-5 Chevy gas tank gets the nod. Why? It's compact, it looks right, and it tucks perfectly under that custom bed. But you can't just throw it in there. Custom straps need to be fabricated to hold it securely in place while keeping it hidden yet accessible. The builder reinforces the strap ends and adds gussets where needed because this thing needs to stay put. By making custom straps instead of using off-the-shelf parts, everything looks cleaner and more intentional. No generic hardware store solutions here. Even the mounting points are carefully considered to ensure proper weight distribution and easy serviceability down the road. Throughout this entire rebuild, precision is everything. When you're transforming a vintage truck into a streamlined roadster, aerodynamics matter more than you might think. Every custom panel needs exact measurements and perfect positioning to reduce drag and keep air flowing smoothly over the body. Sure, this isn't a race car, but that lowered stance and sleek profile naturally want to cut through the air efficiently. Getting those measurements right means panels sit flush against each other with smooth transitions, no gaps, no misalignments, just flowing metal. The builder probably spends more time measuring than actually cutting, and that's exactly how it should be on a build of this caliber. Time to tackle those doors, which need major surgery to work with this radically reimagined body. Since the cab's been chopped down to Roadster proportions, the factory doors are basically useless as is. The builder cuts into the door tops, reshaping them to flow with that new, lower roofline. It's like tailoring a suit. Everything needs to fit perfectly or the whole look falls apart. The process requires careful planning because once you start cutting, there's no going back. Each modification affects how the door seals, latches, and aligns with the body. The factory hinges, their history. New mounting positions need to be figured out, which means reinforcing the door jambs and A-pillars to handle the modified hinge placement. Sometimes spacers or shims come into play to get that perfect fit. The goal is doors that open and close smoothly without any sag or binding, functional art that works as good as it looks. Meanwhile, getting the wheels and custom fenders to play nice together is absolutely crucial to this truck's transformation. The relationship between these elements defines the vehicle's stance and overall visual impact, making this one of the most critical aspects of the build. With the stance dropped low and the whole profile streamlined for that aerodynamic look, the wheels become the foundation everything else builds from. Those custom fenders need to wrap around them just right. Considering this truck started as a salvage project, the wheel hubs need serious attention too. While the bed's getting its final touches, the builder starts applying protective finishes. This coating needs to handle whatever life throws at it: scratches, fuel spills, weather, you name it. The finish selection process alone involves testing different products to find the perfect balance of durability and appearance that'll last for years. Even though we're working with vintage iron here, modern touches make all the difference. Like that hydraulic suspension system, instead of old-school leaf springs or static coils, this setup offers adjustability and that perfect stance at the push of a button. But let's talk about the heart of this beast, that small-block Chevy V8. It's basically the go-to engine for custom builds, and for good reason. Reliable power that fits almost anywhere. The engine choice reflects the builder's philosophy of blending classic hot rod tradition with modern reliability and performance. Starting with salvaged wheels and hubs means dealing with rust wear and outdated bolt patterns. Not exactly ideal, but with the chassis heavily modified and the body sitting way lower than factory, wheel selection becomes critical. They need to work with the new suspension geometry and complement that aggressive ride height. Everything has to work together as a system. The builder probably went through multiple wheel options before finding the perfect set that checks all the boxes for both form and function. Once those side bumpers go on, it's alignment check time. Everything needs to line up perfectly. For the transmission, a modern automatic gets paired with that V8. But what really stands out through all these modifications is the obsessive attention to detail. Every single element gets the same careful consideration. From the smallest bracket to the largest body panel, nothing escapes the builder's scrutiny. This level of dedication is what transforms a good custom build into an exceptional one. This build captures the soul of traditional hot rod culture while completely breaking free from typical resto-mod formulas. There's no bolt-on catalog parts here, no drop-in modern solutions. Nearly everything you see has been hand-fabricated or extensively modified. This level of craftsmanship shows a deep understanding of automotive design, metalworking, and mechanical systems that goes way beyond just making things look cool. It's about creating something that honors the past while pushing into new territory, respecting tradition while refusing to be bound by it. Most classic truck restorations try to preserve factory originality. This project throws that rulebook out the window and reimagines the entire vehicle. This design philosophy runs through every aspect of the build, where aesthetic choices are rooted in mechanical function. Nothing's added just for show. Every modification serves both visual and practical purposes. The result? A vehicle that's stunning to look at and actually works as a cohesive, capable machine. This approach requires thinking through every modification's impact on the whole, ensuring that form and function work in perfect harmony. We've seen plenty of parts being built and modified, but there's another crucial aspect: rust treatment. This builder treats rust as the structural enemy it is, not just a cosmetic issue. Working methodically ensures both longevity and safety. Many original parts show various levels of surface rust and deeper penetration. For salvageable pieces, mechanical rust removal is step one: grinding, sanding, whatever it takes to get down to clean metal. The process is time-consuming, but absolutely essential for a build that'll last. Every bit of rust needs to be eliminated before moving forward. After rust treatment and cleaning, immediate sealing prevents flash rust from forming. Weld-through primer goes on areas that'll be joined later, providing internal protection even after assembly. Here's the key: rust doesn't just get covered up and forgotten. If the pitting's too deep or the metal's structurally compromised, those sections get cut out and replaced with fresh steel. No shortcuts, no compromises. This commitment to doing things right, even when it won't be visible in the finished product, separates professional quality work from amateur efforts. Body filler on this build isn't a crutch to hide sloppy work, it's a sculpting medium to perfect the metalwork. After all the shaping, a skim coat of finishing glaze goes over everything. With the transformation to Roadster style, the traditional roof and pillars need complete reimagining. Square and round tubing create a strong, lightweight framework that matches up with the modified windshield frame. The engineering here requires careful calculation to ensure the new structure can handle the stresses of daily driving while maintaining the desired aesthetic. Test fitting happens over and over, checking flow, symmetry, and door clearance from every angle. Once the base frame is perfect, tack welds lock it in place while checking squareness from multiple viewpoints. This ensures the roof stays true without twisting or leaning. The roof skin comes from sheet metal, usually 19 or 20 gauge for the right balance of flexibility and strength. The goal is matching those classic cab lines while introducing a sleeker, more streamlined look. The process involves countless hours of careful metal shaping, each adjustment bringing the vision closer to reality. During this phase, subtle curves get worked in to avoid that flat, boxy appearance that would clash with the truck's low stance. Completed welds often sit slightly proud or uneven, especially where sheet metal pieces meet on outer panels. Left alone, these would create distortions in the roofline or show through paint as ridges and shadows. The rear window needs complete customization too, since the original roof structure is basically gone. Every aspect of the new roof design has to work together, from structural integrity to water management to aesthetic flow. The new window shape needs to fit the altered cab geometry while maintaining proper proportions. The chosen design echoes vintage hot rod style but still provides functional visibility. After smoothing everything out, the builder inspects for pinholes, micro cracks, or low spots. Minor imperfections might get a touch of filler or metal glaze to perfect those transitions. The level of finish work here rivals what you'd see in high-end show cars, with every surface prepared to perfection before moving to the next stage. For hard-to-reach welds, cavity wax or seam sealer provides protection. Next comes the body filler application that transforms raw metal into show-ready surfaces. With all the welding, grinding, and shaping complete, it's time to finesse the final form. The builder mixes two-part filler, often starting with heavier polyester-based products for deeper imperfections. The application process requires skill and experience. Too much filler creates unnecessary weight and potential failure points, while too little leaves imperfections that'll show through the paint. After the filler cures, every bit of dust, oil, or debris gets cleaned off with wax and grease remover. The primer choice is typically high-build 2-component epoxy or urethane, stuff that sticks to both bare metal and filler while filling minor scratches. The same process repeats for the rear section before installation. Everything needs to be perfect. Multiple coats of primer go on, with sanding between each one to achieve that glass-smooth surface that'll make the final paint job pop. Here's something cool. Custom automotive projects like this are huge in Canada. Halfass Kustoms, based in Manitoba, continues a long tradition of incredible custom builds. Places like Manitoba, Alberta, and Saskatchewan have this amazing grassroots car culture where builders rescue vintage vehicles from fields and farmyards, transforming them into unique custom rides that turn heads everywhere they go. The harsh Canadian winters actually contribute to the ingenuity. Builders have to create vehicles that can handle extreme conditions while still looking incredible. Canada's got this rich hot rod and restoration scene influenced by American culture, but with its own unique twist. Canadian builders often work with limited resources and brutal weather conditions, which leads to seriously creative solutions like what we're seeing here. The clever way they integrate performance parts shows the resourcefulness these fabricators bring to every project. Many of these builders learned their craft through generations of family knowledge, passing down techniques and tricks that you won't find in any manual. Local car shows, cruise nights, and YouTube channels have really boosted the visibility of these projects nationwide. Many builders take serious pride in preserving Canadian automotive history, especially with GM, Ford, and Dodge vehicles that were either built in Canada or widely used across rural areas. Still, it's incredibly labor-intensive work. Everything needs to meet road safety standards while looking amazing. The dedication required to complete a build like this while dealing with Canadian winters and limited shop space makes these achievements even more impressive. From the initial teardown through cutting the cab and building that custom chassis, this has been an incredibly involved, full-scale custom build. For a skilled solo builder, a project this complex could easily eat up 600 to 1,000 hours, depending on workflow and interruption. Every single element has been reconsidered, redesigned, and handcrafted to match the builder's unique vision. Nothing's left to chance. The time investment alone shows the passion and commitment that goes into creating something this special. It's not just a project, it's a labor of love. The aesthetics of this 1949 GMC Roadster pickup are completely off the charts. This goes way beyond restoration into radical reinterpretation territory. Inside the cab, it's not about recreating period-correct details. The builder uses the original structure as a starting point for thoughtful upgrades that prioritize visual flow and modern functionality. The interior design philosophy matches the exterior, respecting the original while pushing boundaries and creating something entirely new and exciting. The dashboard stays simple but gets modified with custom panels for modern gauges and switches. The steering wheel receives matching treatment to tie into the project's bold look. We can see the final silhouette taking shape, but there's still tons of work ahead before this beast hits the road. Every detail inside the cab gets the same attention as the exterior, creating a cohesive design that flows from outside to inside seamlessly. At this stage, the builder's creating something really special, a highly functional tonneau cover with serious style. What sets this apart is the innovative use of metal mesh, combined with a reinforcing grid of intersecting struts. This isn't just creative, it's smart engineering that provides a lightweight yet strong foundation shaped to follow the bed's unique curves. The mesh choice shows forward thinking. It's easier to work with than solid metal, while providing excellent structural support for what comes next. The metal mesh works like flexible scaffolding, creating the base for those complex compound curves. Careful welding and bracing with rigid supports maintains the shape through the fiberglassing process and daily use. With the mesh and strut framework complete, layers of fiberglass matting get cut and positioned over the entire surface with surgical precision. The builder's experience really shows here, knowing exactly how much support is needed and where to place it for maximum strength with minimum weight. Working with these complex curves requires real artistry. Every layer needs to flow over the steel skeleton, hugging contours without bunching or wrinkling. This is delicate work. Even a small crease in the matting will show up later or create weak spots in the structure. Getting it right takes patience and skill. The builder probably spent hours just planning the layup pattern before ever touching the fiberglass, ensuring each piece would conform perfectly to the complex shape. With the matting positioned perfectly, polyester resin gets applied slowly and thoroughly. Brushes and rollers ensure complete penetration into every fiber and mesh opening. Even resin distribution is critical, not just for activating the matting but for eliminating air pockets that could become bubbles. As work progresses, the mesh base and fiberglass layers bond together, transforming from flexible material into a rigid shell. The chemical reaction happening here creates a composite structure that's incredibly strong yet relatively lightweight, perfect for this application. That final foam-backed vinyl layer does double duty, visual and tactile. It adds softness over the rigid fiberglass, creating an inviting surface that contrasts beautifully with exposed metalwork. The foam subtly softens hard lines, playing with light and shadow to give the cover an almost upholstered appearance. This isn't just a panel, it's a refined design element. The choice of foam thickness and vinyl texture shows careful consideration of how this element will look and feel in daily use. This treatment mirrors the philosophy throughout the entire build, blurring the line between interior and exterior design. Just like the custom seats and interior trim showcase serious craftsmanship, this vinyl-wrapped bed lid carries that same attention to detail outside. It harmonizes with the sculpted fenders, bead-rolled panels, and smooth roof transitions. Everything flows together. The cohesive design language makes this truck feel like a complete thought rather than a collection of modifications. Applying the vinyl is far from simple. It's delicate, demanding work. The material needs just enough stretch to eliminate wrinkles without overstressing it. Heat gets applied precisely to match curves, and adhesive goes on with perfect control to avoid uneven surfaces. Every corner wraps intentionally, every seam hidden or resolved naturally. It's the perfect finishing touch on a project built on precision and individuality, bridging the truck's salvaged past with its new identity as a high-concept custom roadster. The skill required here is often underestimated. This is true craftsman-level work. Another layer of paint brings out the final form even more dramatically. Some of the coolest details hide in the interior, waiting to surprise anyone who takes a closer look. As the build nears completion, every panel gets masked, sanded, and cleaned to perfection. That vibrant lime green base coat goes on with surgical precision, the spray gun maintaining even coverage and razor-sharp lines. The color choice itself makes a statement. This isn't a truck trying to blend in, it's meant to turn heads and start conversations. This bold color choice doesn't just enhance the profile, it gives the whole vehicle a fresh, contemporary vibe that pops. Precision matters everywhere, especially when spraying over compound curves, deep recesses, and sculpted transition. These areas love to highlight flaws like uneven coverage or texture issues. The builder prevents problems by carefully overlapping each spray pass. Years of experience show in the smooth, even application that'll look just as good in direct sunlight as it does under show lights. Consistent distance, pressure, and spray patterns ensure no runs or dry spots appear. Applied to this classically rounded body, the paint creates perfect tension between modern energy and vintage style. That bright green makes every smooth transition in the bodywork pop, highlighting all that careful metal sculpting. The attention to detail extends to every element. Even the smallest painted surface gets the same careful preparation and application as the largest panels. Consistency is key to a professional finish. The rear panel gets finished in contrasting white, making the recessed lights and license plate mounts stand out. The windshield goes back in with polished trim and custom mounts that complement the chopped roofline. Those classic style wheels provide the perfect contrast to all that custom bodywork, keeping the build grounded in hot rod tradition while pushing boundaries. Every chrome piece, every painted surface, every detail works together to create a cohesive whole that's greater than the sum of its parts. Inside, the floor gets prepped for carpeting with care. Thick, molded underlay shapes to the contours, smoothing everything out and adding comfort. Once trimmed perfectly, the carpet installs with precision, following every curve and transition. The seats, which looked pretty rough initially, get completely torn down and rebuilt from scratch. New foam, new covers, new everything, but styled to complement the truck's custom aesthetic rather than just copying factory specs. Old upholstery comes off, revealing tired foam and frames underneath. The builder restores the structure and adjusts the recline for better ergonomics. From an engineering perspective, converting this salvaged vehicle into a convertible required serious structural planning and reinforcement. Every modification had to maintain integrity while achieving that open-air style. The amount of hidden reinforcement work ensures this Roadster is just as solid as it was in pickup form, maybe even more so. Now this incredible convertible pickup cruises the roads of Manitoba in style. What really hits you is how this machine looks in motion. Absolutely spectacular. That lime green paint catches the light perfectly, showing off every custom curve and contour as it moves. The aggressive yet refined profile cuts through the landscape like a rolling piece of art, a modern take on classic American automotive culture. Sure, the build started in the workshop, but this is where it belongs, out on the open road where every weld, every custom touch, and every creative decision finally comes alive for the world to see. This isn't just transportation, it's rolling sculpture that happens to have an engine. Make sure to subscribe and see you in the next one.